Good morning. This is Edward Ng with Pittsburgh Foundation. Thank you for joining us for our monthly COVID-19 response update call. Just want to remind everyone that we are recording this session for rebroadcast and to also keep your questions or put your questions in the question box, and they will be answered after the webinar via email. With that, I hand it over to Phil Koch.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it, Edward. Phil Koch with the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County and the Pittsburgh Foundation. Appreciate you all joining us this morning, along with Alyssa Choledovsky from the United Way, to really hear how various organizations are leading the response to COVID-19, and hopefully we can provide some really great information for you, for the people that you serve in your community, and so that we can increase communication and do our work more efficiently. I want to start by just saying a quick thanks to the Westmoreland Museum of American Art for providing our artwork today that you all had as your title slide. This actually is a painting called February. In the summer of 1880, Winslow Homer painted over 100 watercolors, including Somerset Fires, a brilliant watercolorist who was ahead of his time in his technique. Homer captured in just a few broad strokes the contrasting colors of the essence of a three-mast schooner and another small boat, silhouetted against a blazing sunset. That's my art report for the day, which I love to give. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into our reports. We've got lots of folks on with us today, so those who are our panelists today, I'd ask that you try to keep your comments to under 5 minutes, so that we can make sure that we get through everyone and get everyone out by 9 o'clock, which is our typical time frame. The only announcement that I have from the Community Foundation of Westmoreland County is to invite folks to the next WESCO Nonprofit Network event, which will be on Friday, February 19th at 9 a.m. It's a virtual event. You can find the details on our website, and then Allison Womer, our administrative assistant, will also send this to everyone after our call. The event is really about creating welcoming communities and welcoming organizations. It's part of an extension of the county's comprehensive plan, Reimagining Our Westmoreland, trying to understand how we can create open and welcoming communities for all folks. So I hope you'll join us. Our host for that event will be the Westmoreland Community Action and some of the work that they've been doing on creating welcoming communities. So again, it's a free event through the WESCO Nonprofit Network, February 19th, Friday, February 19th at 9 a.m. I'm going to pass it over to Alyssa Choledovsky with the United Way for any updates from the United Way side.
Thank you, Phil, and I'll be the first one probably today to wish you a happy 211 day. February 11th is 211 special day, and we are actually this year celebrating 10 years of 211 being available as a resource in our Western Pennsylvania community. So always an exciting day at United Way, and if you follow us on social media channels, you might have seen some of our local peoples, Commissioner Chu and Dan Carney, both commented and in their support of 211. So I'm happy to have that as well from our Westmoreland County. So speaking of 211, I just took a quick look today. The last 30 days, we've had over 1,300 calls. This is just Westmoreland County. 66% of those calls are coming in asking for assistance with housing. 82% of those calls are asking for rent assistance, and this is a huge increase over year to year from last year. 10% of the calls are coming in asking for information about healthcare. 90% of those are about COVID-19, looking for testing sites, information, support, and help. 11% of the calls are about employment and income. A lot of those are people calling to schedule free tax preparation. So we have a great partner, Westmoreland Community Action, that does free tax prep for people. These are low-income working families who have access to the Earned Income Tax Credit. They can get their taxes done for free rather than go to somewhere and pay for the service, and then more money comes back to them in their pocket. So great service. Call to 211 to schedule that. Just in 2020, we received over 12,000 calls from 211 in Westmoreland County. That volume was up 50 to 75% every month of 2020. So it's just amazing the number of people who are reaching out and the support that our community is able to provide. Quick note on 211, we are hiring resource navigators. We have a big need. So if you know someone looking for employment, applications right on our website for United Way. Make sure you have them go right there. We're hiring people because we have a lot of new contracts. One big one with Allegheny County Health Department to help schedule vaccine. And that's something else we've been working on and talking about locally as well. Really concerned about people 75 and over who don't have access to technology or the internet, and then also may have issues with transportation. So we're trying to talk to a lot of different groups. I know I see Bud and Dr. Fox here today, and we've had conversations about this. We're working together to hopefully put a plan on so that when the supply comes, which I know is, of course, the big issue right now, we'll be ready to go to help people, and particularly the older adults who are still waiting and hopeful to get their vaccines. So that's a lot in a quick time. I know we have a quick agenda, but always happy to answer other questions. Just reach out to me, email, phone call. Happy to help. So I will hand it back to you, Phil. Thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. United Way, always a great partner. I forgot to go over our list of folks today that will be with us to provide reports. So we'll move to Dr. Fox next, and then we have Commissioner Chu with us as well from the county. Bud Mertz is here from Public Safety, Jennifer Miller with the Westmoreland County Food Bank. Deb Thacker will be here from Feeding the Spirit, as well as Dan Carney with Union Mission. Alan Lukovich will be here from Transportation. We also have Jordan Polito from the Hill Group to provide an update on the Human Services Study, as well as Dr. Conway from the IU. Jesse Spraykar will be here from the United Way to give us an update on another other work that's being happening through the United Way. And then we'll finish with Susan Kinney with the Regional Integrated Human Services to talk about their Career Steps program. So without further ado, let's go ahead and move on over to Dr. Fox from Excella Health. Thanks for joining us, Dr. Fox.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a nice snowy morning. I think probably the biggest news is it is true we are seeing a decreased number of cases of COVID-19. Our positivity rate for the month of February for the test done at Excella is right around 10%. And this is in contrast to some of our peak weeks when it exceeded 30%. So that is most certainly good news. However, we do feel it's important to remind folks to, continue with those mitigation strategies, in particular, wearing a mask, social distancing, and frequent hand washing. We still have inpatients in all three of our facilities, but the overall percent of our acute care beds is also decreased, and it's about 1/3 of the level that it was when we were at our peak. We continue to have adequate personal protective equipment, adequate beds, and adequate ventilators, which is good news. We've been able to liberalize our visitation policies to allow all individuals to have one visitor at a time, which we know is very important for the healing process. Our ORs are very busy. So, we are starting to resume somewhat of a more normal approach to our healthcare business. Our Fry Farm Road site remains open for testing, but it is currently only open Monday through Friday, and the hours have decreased slightly. It's now open from 10 to 4, as opposed to being open much earlier until 4. And that's really based on a decrease in the demand for testing. Probably the thing that's at the top of mind for everyone is our vaccines. We are nearly complete with our first round of 7,000 vaccines that have been used largely for healthcare workers and first responders. We do have our second 1,400 round of vaccines in progress. We have been able to open up a limited number of appointment slots for those greater than 75 years of age. And we are scheduling those via our website. That being said, as Alyssa mentioned, we do recognize and understand that there are individuals who may lack broadband access or may not have computer access altogether those in the over 75 age group, as well as others in our community. So we are working, as Alyssa noted, with our commissioners, with public safety and Director Mertz, and with the United Way, in the hopes of developing a plan that as vaccines become more readily available, will be ready to be up and running. We can reasonably accommodate upwards of 1,000 people per day per site. We actually have 5 sites within Excella, and we've had information and offers for other folks in the county for other sites. So we do believe that once that vaccine supply becomes more plentiful, that we will be able to work together with our partners to ensure that the citizens of Westmoreland County have access to immunization, which we know is, going to be so important for more consistent and persistent mitigation of COVID-19. So, as Alyssa noted, I'm also happy to answer any questions that you have. Please feel free to forward them to Phil or to reach out to me directly, and I'm happy to help you. But, just again, remember, wear your mask, social distance. But if you need health care, please do not hesitate to seek it. So thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dr. Fox. As a reminder, if you do have questions, feel free to go ahead and either drop those in the questions section here of the webinar, and we will follow up with you, or you can email me directly or Allison Wolmer directly, and we'll get those answers to you ASAP. Thank you, Dr. Fox. We're going to go ahead and move on over to Commissioner Chu, who's with us today. Commissioner, do you have any updates from your angle?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Phil. Happy 211 Day, Alyssa. You guys are a great partner with the county. I know I really appreciate being able to tell people about that 211 resource. And so it's really exciting to see that today is February 11th and this is our 10th year. The first thing I'll comment on is Alyssa had mentioned that there's 66% of the calls coming into 211 are related to rental assistance, and the county is going to have an influx of almost $23 million for rental and utility assistance. The first 12 million or so was awarded. It's in our bank account, and this week we are applying for and will receive the balance of that. And we are working with Union Mission, and Dan will probably say a few words whenever he comes up regarding that program. So it won't just be rent, it'll be utility assistance as well. And the parameters and requirements are a little bit looser than they were for the funding that we had acquired in 2020. And so hopefully we can get more money into the hands of more landlords and more people that are suffering at this time. The other thing that happened this week is with that Act 1, or what many might know as SB 109, a new grant program came about. They're calling it CHIRP, for COVID-19 Hospitality Response Program. There's about $4 million that will be coming to Westmoreland County to help support the hospitality industry. At this time, we don't really have a good definition of what hospitality industry is. From DCED, we would expect restaurants, hotels, and things like that to definitely qualify, but there's been no additional guidance provided from DCED. The one item that Act 1 does for both rental assistance and utility assistance is force a very, very tight timeline to get money out into the community. And so, for example, applications for the hospitality industry must be in the process of being approved by March 14th. And so we will go from receiving the money to setting up a contract with a agency like the Economic Growth Connection, to putting out an application and beginning to fund that application within about 4 weeks in order to have the first funds begin to go out. Sorry about that, Luke's hungry. to have the first funds go out by March 14th. We are actually meeting today to develop that application, and we'll likely have some things on the county website by the end of the week. Dr. Fox and Director Mertz will most likely say the most about COVID vaccine. I think the things that I want to mention are that over the last week, I created my own update list. And so if anybody is interested in receiving information that's coming from the Department of Health, you can let my office know. It's an email list. Anybody that doesn't have email, my office is calling whenever we have an update. This is not a registry. It's only a way so that people can stay informed. And I think most people that have called my office, that's all they are looking for, is a way to stay informed on what's happening. My office also worked with the County Transit Authority to put together a transit poster. It'll help people get to vaccine sites that might not have transportation. And we're going to start distributing those and putting those up in various places around the county this week. Director Mertz will talk a little bit, I'm sure, about some meetings that we're trying to come up with over the next couple of weeks, so I won't go into that. I think the news coming out of the White House is promising that there'll be a 5% increase in vaccine distribution soon. The Department of Health has advised that counties not create a list of registration for vaccine, such as what Fayette or other counties have done. So Westmoreland at this time is not looking to do that, but that could change over the next week or so. I guess lastly, I would just say thanks to all of the partners, whether it's public safety, Excella Health, Dr. Conway, etc. Westmoreland County has a fabulous set of people that really, really care about the public. I know I've talked to Dr. Fox sometimes as late as 10 at night. I've talked to Director Mertz at almost all hours of the day and night. And I hope that the people listening really realize how many people in Westmoreland County go above and beyond their normal 8-hour workday to really take into account everybody in this county. And that includes all of the panelists that are talking today. And so, Phil, that's all I have this morning. I will send you over that Transit Authority poster and a couple other things that I mentioned if anybody emails you. And
Yep.
Like everybody else, I'm always happy to take a question. So
Appreciate it, Commissioner Chu, and we'll make sure that we get that out to not only the folks that are on the call here, but the entire Westmoreland County Nonprofit Network and others. Okay.
thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Let's go ahead and move on over to Jennifer Miller with the food bank. Nope, just kidding. Sorry, Jennifer. I forgot about Bud. Sorry about that. Bud Mertz, you're up next. Go for it.
Thank you. I'm easy to forget about, but I have to echo Commissioner Chu and the happy birthday to United Way 211, because running a 911 center, I know how valuable the 211 center is for us, and great partners for public safety as well as the county. So congratulations on that. You know, one of our hardest tasks that we've had to go through the pandemic, I think, is before us, and that's the vaccination process. The unfortunate part is that we, the county, or we, the Department of Public Safety, not receiving any vaccines to administer, that we have to rely on the network that the Operation Warp Speed has put in place in the leadership of the Commonwealth and how they're doing it. And as you know, vaccines are going out to health centers, federal pharmacies, as well as the independent pharmacies. And, you know, our role has been trying to support those entities as they go through it. There's a lot of issues that I have to say that these recipients of the vaccine face. And the first and foremost is a very short notice of getting the vaccine and in order to set up a clinic. And in most cases, it's been less than 48 hours where the entities, the pharmacies would get a notice saying, hey, you're going to get 100 or you're going to get 1,000 or whatever. And then from there, they have that short window in order to set up their clinics and go through the registration process, set up the appointments that is needed to get the right people in at the right flow. And then there's a lot of coordination that a clinic requires as well. And so we've reached out, and obviously we have this tremendous partnership with Excella Health, and we continue to shoot ideas back and forth on how we can help them, and moving forward with Excella being the big footprint for Westmoreland County in the vaccination. But we have an awful lot of smaller pharmacies too that we're trying to work with. We're scheduling meetings. We have one coming up with the commissioners, public safety commissioners, and Excella Health as we talk about our next steps. We're looking right now as a limited supply, but we need to also look at when supply is plentiful and how we can keep the vaccines flowing into arms. We also have a meeting set up that's going to include public safety, the commissioners, Excella Health, and the pharmacies, and hoping that they will join us so that we can do a little brainstorming on how we can make things better. It is a tremendous amount of work to put off a clinic, anywhere from parking the cars through the registration process, the shot in the arm, and the 15-minute observation after that. And we want to try to do what we can as a government entity to support the nonprofits and the private sector in their clinics going forward. So, I mean, we got a lot of work ahead of us. Again, it's two tiers. It's going to be, how do you support the limited access, and, trying to relay the message to the people that are seeking vaccines to be patient, be persistent, and in getting an appointment, getting on a list. But the other part is we also have to be prepared for those when the vaccine is plentiful, and that also includes, not targeting the low-hanging fruit, so to speak, but also looking at those that have more barriers in order to get the vaccines. We talked a little bit about the people without broadband internet or not being computer savvy enough to do it, and that's one target that we have to look at. But there's a lot of families that may have transportation or mobility issues that we have to do it as well. The next step also is continuing the public awareness of the vaccine, so people have a true understanding of what the vaccine is, and so they can make up their mind if they really truly want it. As we encourage everybody to seek a vaccine, it's up to them to make up their mind. And we're working with the Department of Human Services as well, trying to receive all the different publications that they have for the different sectors of the human service groups, so to speak, language barriers and education barriers and those type of things, so that we can produce enough public education for the people to make up their minds. So there's a lot of work ahead of us. We're far from being out of it. The good news is, as Dr. Fox reported, the numbers are down. We hope that as we watch these different variants produced, that the numbers still stay down, but we're still in the pandemic full speed. about all I have right now, and then always will respond to any questions that you come up with. Thank you.
Thanks, Bud. Appreciate all your help through this pandemic. Let's now turn it over to Jennifer Miller with the food bank for real this time.
Thanks, Phil. I wanted to say also happy 211 Day to United Way and all of our friends at United Way. And thank you for all that you do to help us do what we do. So many of our referrals that come into the food bank come from 211, and we are very grateful for the service, and we refer so many people to you as well to get us the assistance that they need. It's really going well at the food bank, knock on wood. I wanted to be able to say that we are here for any type of referrals or information to give out to our consumers when the time comes when the vaccines are more plentiful. It would be a great way to reach at least 7,000 households, if not more. So if there's a time where hopefully that will be able to happen, we're here to be able to assist in that manner as well. Our numbers are a little bit higher than they were this time in last January, needless to say, at the end of January, I should say. It's up about 1,000 more than what we had normally seen, and that's through all of our programs. All of our pantries are operating as normal. We have stopped pre-boxing here at our warehouse, and they are pre-boxing at their facilities, which it takes a lot of work off of us, I should say, and our volunteers. Our volunteer roles have kind of went down over the past few months, which made it very difficult to pre-pack those boxes, but pre-packing is still happening. The Operation Fresh Express program that had to be canceled throughout 2020 will be up and running in March throughout the area. And we're doing low to no touch. All consumers will be required to wear a mask and socially distance throughout the line. It's going to be a challenge, and we'll be tweaking the operations as we go. But we feel that that program is very imperative to our consumers, and we want to be able to get that fresh produce and fresh items and frozen items out to them in a timely manner. So beginning I think it's mid-March, we'll begin in Greensburg will be our first site. So keep your eyes open for that. We also are doing no paperwork for that because it is all donated food. So there'll be low to no touch. So we won't, we'll be able to be careful in that manner. Throughout the pandemic, our volunteers never wavered. And, even though our numbers are down with our volunteers, for 2020, we still received 5,000 volunteers that were helping not only in our food pantries, but at our warehouse as well, and gave almost 58,000 hours of time. That is a true testament to the heart of Westmoreland County and what they do for the people that need them the most. But I want to encourage people, if you see anyone that needs food or questions whether or not they are eligible for food, or just is in a bizarre situation or an emergent situation, we're here. We do have income guidelines, but we do have donated food too that does it. And we're able to get that emergency boxes out to people who are just having a rough time making ends meet throughout the pandemic. We're always open to questions, and please refer them to give us a call or call 211, and they will let them know exactly where they need to be at any pantry throughout Westmoreland County. So I know I would need to keep it short today. So if there's any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Appreciate it, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Amazing numbers, by the way, for 2020. Congratulations. Let's go ahead and move on over to Deb Thakral with Feeding the Spirit.
Good morning, everybody. I'm going to echo Jennifer and thank 211 and United Way for being a beautiful resource for us all. And Jennifer, thank you. We refer quite a few of our consumers to you at the food bank, and we're just so lucky to have all of us that partner together and can have those referrals for each other and make it a little easier for those in need. When looking at the figures for the first month of 2021, as far as our meal distribution, which is still outside, drive-through and walk up, but we're not inside sitting down, In January, we supplied 888 meals to people. And compared to 2020 in January, we only distributed 476 meals. So that's really a huge increase. That's twofold. One, because I think the need is greater. And two, because in January of 2020, we were still doing our sit-down dinners and could only house about 100 people in the church at a time. But we still see a great need out there, and we still see wonderful cooperation with the restaurants and the sponsors. And I want to commend our volunteers that are doing it this way, especially in this climate. You know, we're out there on Thursday evenings in the cold, and our volunteers never waver, and they show up and they bundle up and they put layers on, but they always have a smile on their face, and they're always really happy to do it. I can't say enough about the heart of our people. We looked also at the housing figures, and our rent calls have increased again, 84 calls last month alone. And that's high, and we partner with and coordinate with Westmoreland County Housing Authority and Catholic Charities to really solve these problems as quickly as we can and keep these folks in their home. And then our hotel stays are up significantly, our emergency hotel stays. We housed 59 people in crisis for 2 to 3 nights. And then in December of last year, I think we only did about 60 people. So it's going up a little bit. And as always, even though it's increased, we really work with Union Mission and Welcome Home and try to get them into coordinated entry and to a safe, warm place, especially in this time of the year. It's very important. So I'm just grateful that we all partner together, and I hope we can continue to keep each other educated about what's out there. And thanks again to 211, and thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks, Deb. Appreciate it. I believe that Dan Carney is with us, speaking of Union Mission. Dan, you want to give us a little update on housing issues? Dan, are you there? We must have lost Dan, and so that is okay. I know that Commissioner Chu talked a little bit about the rental assistance, which I think was what Dan was probably going to spend most of his time talking about. So, you know, we'll make sure that we get that rental assistance information out to you all, just to underscore what the commissioner said. There is a little bit of urgency around making sure that we get those monies out the door. We know that if they don't get out the door in the next few months, the state does have the ability to reclaim those dollars. So we want to make sure that we get them out sooner rather than later. Why don't we go ahead and move on over to Alan, who I believe is here with us to talk about
Phil, I found Dan Carney over on the other side. I opened his microphone. Dan, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep. Thank you, Dan.
Sure.
Great. Go for it, Dan.
Phil, you covered it so greatly. We certainly, probably the most paramount thing right now is rental assistance, utility assistance, and Commissioner Chu did a really good job of covering that. We do have those funds that are, you know, in the county and coming to the county. We're working right now on some exploring some technology solutions, and part of those funds are administered by DHS, and they are also putting out, we'll be seeing Friday, some of the opportunities they may have for technology to make it easier for applicants to apply. Both tenants and landlords will have the opportunity to apply for the funding and to streamline the process as much as we can. The moratorium has been extended through March 31st. There is advocacy at the national level to try to extend it through to September 30th of 2021. So we're not sure how that will go. I think that they are wanting to make sure that this emergency rental assistance program is launched and up throughout the nation, and that way the folks are protected. So part of the extension might come, I think, in 3-month increments to get us there. Other than that, there is some funding that we're working with also right now to fill in gaps. So where folks are still facing eviction for other reasons or having concerns relative to housing, they can connect to us or to the Housing Authority or to Welcome Home, and they'll get connected to those resources. to make sure that they also have the opportunity to stabilize. We'll be building a platform for folks to register. We've been keeping a list as we've been getting calls from folks of emails and phones, and we'll be building that out to put out in the community for folks to sign up to get updates on the Emergency Rental Assistance Program and when that will launch. We're thinking at this point in time, mid-March to April, for that to get off the ground here in Westmoreland County. Part of the challenge is we're waiting for the Treasury to finalize and update their guidance to make sure that we have all of the I's dotted and T's crossed when it comes to funding. And so we're going to roll it out as expeditiously as we can, but also just want to make sure it's done in a way that moves smoothly for folks and that we can get the funds distributed as fast as possible once the application period opens. And that's all I've got to say.
Those are all good things, Dan. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Glad we found you. Alan, over to you to talk us a little bit about transportation.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Go for it, Alan. Thank you.
Commissioner Chu did steal a little bit of my thunder today, but just to let you all know, we continue to run all of our normal fixed route services throughout the county. Obviously, that's, you know, fixed schedules, fixed times daily. We do have, I'll say, limited commuter service to Pittsburgh. Our ridership has been down tremendously throughout the pandemic, but we still have those services available. And then, of course, on Saturdays, we do have some limited service available as well. The Go Westmoreland program, I'm sure you all see those vehicles out, it's door-to-door shared ride service. It is open to the general public, but the fares are subsidized for senior citizens and our residents with disabilities, and then people that qualify for medical assistance transportation. That service, you do have to register in advance so that we have your, particularly the addresses and contact information, and then you do need to schedule one day in advance. All of that information is available on our website or by calling our offices. Our phone numbers and things are all published regularly. I would add all of our vehicles since the start of this, we have done a tremendous job cleaning every day. Inside, they are cleaned thoroughly, and then we do use a general sanitizer when that's all done to kind of finish that process. One relatively new thing is we have always required masks under state mandate, but as through the executive order issued early this month, and now a TSA directive, masks are required on our vehicles and in our facilities. So we went from a strong recommendation by the state to officially now it's required. I can tell you all that we have really not had any problems with people, you know, kind of complying with that. It's gone well. The one thing I do allow, particularly with our drivers, is if they are uncomfortable wearing a mask while they are driving, I have allowed them to pull it down, thinking about their glasses and other things. I don't want that to become a safety issue as far as driving the vehicle. So if you do see a driver with a mask pulled down a little bit, we do allow that. We try to keep the passengers back from the driver as well. The big thing that I was going to add was that we have put together a brochure at Commissioner Chu's request about transportation to vaccination sites. That is posted on the county's website, and I believe he said he would get that sent out to all of you today. Really, it just describes how people get information on the services that we're running today. We do stand ready when and if the county or agencies in the county have access to a greater supply, and there may be larger clinics. We will help in any way that we can. If I have to pull buses from their regular service and make them available just to those vaccination sites, that's what we'll do. You know, I think that's probably the most important thing. So please, those that are on the call, if you're involved in planning those things, please keep us in mind. You know, the sooner that we know about where and when they may be, the better off we'll be able to help people. And that, you know, other than questions, please, anybody that has any special service requests or needs, always welcome to call our office. I would say any agency that, you know, wants to talk about transportation in the county, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm always available to talk about it.
Thanks so much, Alan. I appreciate that Westmoreland Transit is willing to be flexible and is willing to be a partner in this process. Glad you were here. Thank you, Alan. Let's go ahead and shift on over to Jordan Polito, who's here with the Hill Group to give us an update on the Human Services Study. Jordan. We cannot hear you, Jordan.
Got it.
There you are.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for having me. To keep it brief, you've heard in the last several calls about an update for this assessment of human services in Westmoreland County, and we are really close to finishing our final set of findings and recommendations. And just to brief you on what that includes, and as a reminder, essentially, we worked with a steering committee of some folks on this call and others over the last 4 months or so to craft a vision for a better, best-in-class human services system in Westmoreland County. We then took a look at the way the current system operates, good and bad, and there are some great things happening in Westmoreland County, but there are also some challenges. And then we took a look at what's happening outside of Westmoreland County, other counties in Pennsylvania, throughout the State Department of Human Services, and in other states, to see if there were promising practices that we could borrow and use here in Westmoreland County. And then ultimately, what that current state assessment and best practice assessment helped us to identify were about 10 key recommendations organized around 3 major strategies. And just for the sake of this call and to keep it brief, those 3 major strategies really focus on, number 1, improving the system level or the county level infrastructure related to human services. Number 2, improving agency capacity. Those individual service providers are facing a number of challenges, and some help could be used to enhance capacity. And then number 3 is really about expanding access for the public to those services. We know there are some challenges particularly in rural parts of Westmoreland County in getting to services, not just transportation issues, even though we're addressing some of those things, as Alan just said, with Go Westmoreland and other initiatives. There are still some challenges to public access. And so we are finalizing those recommendations, and our report will be available over the next couple of weeks. Some of you have seen drafts of that, and others will get to see it in due time. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jordan. Really appreciate your work on that. And I know that there'll be lots of work to come in terms of implementing that plan once we've got it released. So stay tuned. Let's move over to Jason Conway. Dr. Conway's here with us from the IU. Go for it.
All right. Good morning, Phil, and thank you, everyone. I really do appreciate this meeting. I do learn so much about what's going on in the county and all the wonderful supports that continue to happen. And it's my hope that we could have some type of continuation post-COVID of this sharing and collaboration, because it truly is amazing. My report is pretty brief today. Just wanted to share that each of our school districts are providing, all except one school district in the county, are providing some in-person instruction, be it 4 days a week, 2 days a week, but all of our districts have been moving towards providing more in-person instruction. From the IU's perspective, Clairview is operating at 4 days a week with 1 day of deep clean. And we're also hoping to open up our early intervention classrooms next week is our hope to move forward with that. As we all are, we're patiently waiting for the vaccines to come to the county. I know we have some very anxious folks that would like to get the vaccine, as you can appreciate. So the intermediate unit is more than willing to assist in any way to promote and gather information for the county when it comes to vaccinating educators when it is their turn. Last but not least, just wanted to put another plug in and reminder. Step Up Westmoreland is a great resource. It's a network for mental health services, and it's a triumvirate of behavioral health of the county, the 17 school districts, as well as the intermediate unit. So feel free to check out the website. Has plenty of resources. We're building a library of experts on many different topics, and it truly is a county resource. So again, that's Step Up Westmoreland, and check that out for information. Other than that, Phil, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Conway. Appreciate it. Next, we have Jesse Spraycar from the United Way, who's here to talk to us a little bit about things that are happening his way. Jesse. We cannot hear you, Jesse. Looks like your mic's open, but I'm not sure why we can't hear you.
Yeah, her mic is open, Phil. Not sure why we can't hear. You might want to move on. Phil, your mic's closed.
Sorry, let's see if we can move on. Then we'll move on to Susan, and then try to go back to Jesse after that, and we'll see if we can catch him here before we close. So, Susan, we're just going to go ahead and jump on over to you to talk us a little bit about the Career Steps work.
Awesome. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, good. So I'm winning so far. I just wanted to, start by thanking Lynette from Wixie who had connected me with you all today, and also Alyssa for your help as well. I know that COVID has certainly impacted our program tremendously over this past year, just as it's affected, obviously, the entire county. So I do appreciate your time and letting me come on today to share some information on our program and also our agency. I'll start with just a brief background on RISE, which is Regional Integrated Human Services. We were created in 2018 really to develop programs to meet human service gaps within the community. Currently, we have 2 programs under the RISE umbrella, so to speak. We have Developmental Services, which is a contracted program through Westmoreland County BHDS. They provide intake and eligibility services for folks who are diagnosed with autism and intellectual and developmental disabilities. The second program is the one I'm here to talk to you about today, which is our Career Steps program for young adults. This is a grant contract program through Westmoreland Fayette Workforce Investment Board, aka the WIB. And we are contracted with them to provide career readiness services for out-of-school youth ages 16 to 24 in both Westmoreland and Fayette counties. You can see here that Phil has up on the slide our flyer and some screenshots of our brochure. I understand that after this presentation, Allison is going to send that out to everybody, so thank you in advance for that. Our last cohort is in March of this year, so next month is our last cohort for this program year under this grant. Then we'll have a little break while we do an RFP to kick things off again in the summer starting in July. We are still accepting referrals though for March, so if you can get this information into the right hands, we would be happy to start young adults in our program next month. Also closer to July, we will have a virtual open house, or who knows, maybe it'll be in person, where we will share some more information about our service and our program at that time. So please stay tuned for that. We'll send out some advertising and some flyers whenever we're getting ready to kick things off again. In short, like I said, we are a career readiness program, and what's exciting about our program for the young adults is it's incentivized. I had to practice saying that word a couple of times to make sure I didn't butcher it too much. But basically, in short, we do provide cash, stipends and incentives to encourage the young adults to continue to advance towards their career goals. So that's definitely something that's appealing for them. In order to be eligible for our program, you have to be a resident of Westmoreland or Fayette County, be between the ages of 16 and 24, and be out of school. You also have to be a citizen and be eligible to work. In addition to those things, that you have to meet one of the following criteria. So just one of the following. Have dropped out of high school, completed high school, but considered basic skills deficient, low income, in the foster care or out of home placement, or considered as homeless, receiving some type of assistance such as SNAP or medical assistance, be pregnant or parenting, subject to the juvenile or adult criminal justice system, or have a disability. So that is what makes folks eligible to participate in our program. In short, we help young adults in learning soft skills that are needed to maintain employment, to get employment and maintain it. Also to get their GED, enroll in post-secondary education, all while problem solving to overcome any barriers that they might be facing. Our program's individualized. We function off of a service plan that's developed with the young adult that's specific to what they want for their career and their employment goals. The program has three main components. We have soft skills workshops, we offer a work experience, and we do ongoing follow-up. As far as the workshops go, each month we start a new cohort or group in our workshops. That's always the first thing. Traditionally, our workshops would take place at the career links. I'm distracted by Alyssa's cat. I'm a cat person. Yeah, so we function out of two career links. We are out of the Youngwood career link for Westmoreland, and then we have a case manager out of the Fayette career link in Lamont Furnace. So typically we would have our workshops in-house, and we would be able to provide transportation to get the young adults into our program and meet with them in person. But as with COVID, we had to make some adjustments, and we actually started to conduct our workshops virtually using this platform, actually, GoToWebinar. And just a special little quick shout out to Phil and the Community Foundation. We actually were able to receive a grant to get some tablets for our young adults, which have been very helpful in helping them participate in our program. So thank you very much. A little bit about our workshops. So it does run from 2 to 4 weeks. We have 8 soft skills workshops. So we help youth identify what work track or career track they want to take. From there, we help them learn the skills to complete job applications, make their first resume, how to prepare for an interview. Once they get the job, how do they keep the job? We help them develop those workplace skills to be successful. We also have partnered with a lot of businesses in our community and our county. We have People Bank, which I always wanted to call FEPL, P-H-E, I learned it's people. But they do a financial literacy workshop for our young adults. We also partner with Dress for Success that helps to outfit our young women in Fayette County and prepare them for the workforce. Recently, we added on Working Women's Closet, which is based out of our YWCA here in Greensburg. Same thing, they help outfit our young women who are looking to interview and get into the workforce. We have local schools come and present to our young adults, Triangle Tech, the community college, to talk about their training programs and schooling. We also have ETI Driving School talk about their driving school, which we can actually assist the young adults in completing driving training to get their driver's license, their permit, and all of that. We get $50 for each workshop they attend. They get extra stipends if they attend all of the workshops. At the end of the day, they can get up to $525 just for attending our workshops. So it really is a great incentive for our young adults. After they complete the workshops, the second component is a work experience, where our program partners with employers throughout both counties who will allow us to place our young adults and fill their opening positions at their businesses. Career Steps will actually pay the wage of the young adults. We pay $11 an hour up to 200 hours or 8 weeks. So the benefit to the employer is they're getting to fill a position and not have to worry about having that person on their payroll. We'll pay for that. So it's helping out the employer and it's helping out the young adult because they get to have that first experience with working in a supportive environment. Their case manager will work with the site supervisor at the place of employment to make sure that they're doing well, problem solve things. So it really does, it's a great partnership there. Finally, just to wrap things up, we do provide 1 year of follow-up. So even after they complete our program, and they exit or graduate from the program because they've met specific goals, we then follow them for a year to offer ongoing support. The case manager will reach out to them at least one time a month just to touch base. How are you doing? Are you still working? Do you need help finding a job? Are you ready to go to school? And they provide that ongoing support. So we don't just leave after they, achieve their goals. Touch a little bit more on incentives, and then I will wrap up here because I, want to be respectful of your time, and I see it's getting close to 9 o'clock. But prior to them graduating from our program, we do offer incentives, not just for the workshops, but for achieving a number of goals. If they obtain a job, if they enroll in school, if they get their driver's license, we provide them with bonuses along the program to incentivize those actions and those positive behaviors. We also have support service funding. So if the young adult needs assistance with transportation, we can cover bus passes for them to get to and from work or job interviews. We're looking to add on possibly Uber at this time. We can pay for the ETI driving school. A lot of our young adults don't have access to a car to practice driving, and ETI driving school is able to provide that to them, and we can help fund that for them. If they need interview clothing, work uniforms, haircuts for that interview, anything you can think of, we're able to jump in there and reimburse them or help foot the bill to get them whatever they need to be successful. So that's the program in a very quick nutshell. I have had a lot of coffee, so I'm talking very quickly. But if you have any questions, please go to our website, which is ontherise.org, and you can learn about both of our programs, Delegated Services and Career Steps. And you're also welcome to call me or email me anytime. That information will be sent out after we meet today. So thank you all again for your time and for everything you're doing for our county.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you joining us.
Hey, Phil, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to mention that we put these flyers and the brochure in the handout section. So if you pop that down, you can open them and download them whenever you want.
Perfect. Sounds great. Sounds great. Well, I know that Jesse, I think, logged off and then logged back on again to try to see if we can get his mic working. Jesse, are you able to be heard today?
Can you hear me now, Phil?
Absolutely. You go for it, man.
Awesome. That worked. Technology, right? Yeah, I just wanted to give a brief update on our student and family food support project that we launched last April to try to supplement meals that the school districts were handing out to the children to try to feed the parents and the adults and the grandparents in the home. So in partnership with PNC and Eaton Park Group, we've been working across our 5-county region, and over the last 10 months or so, we've distributed over 900,000 meals, mostly on weekends to, again, try to make sure the whole family is fed. We are very excited to announce that over the next 2 months, we'll be giving out over 10,000 meals with Jeanette City School District and New Kensington Arnold School District. Those actually began last week, and we're hoping to run that longer. And we're trying to raise funding to do so currently. And really, the whole idea around this program is to try to support the work, the remarkable work that the food bank and Feeding the Spirit and church groups and community organizations are doing, trying to help our families in need and make them whole during all this craziness. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we're doing around food security, and I'm glad that my microphone got back on and I was able to share. So I too thank everybody on this call for the amazing work that you've been doing and continue to do during these challenging times. So thank you for having me, Phil.
Thanks, Jesse. Phil had to pop off for another call, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for the good wishes and support for 211. We really appreciate it. Such great community service, and for all the fantastic work that all of the organizations that spoke here today and those that are on the call do for our community. So have a good rest of your day and take care, and we'll see you next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.